What's up, everybody? Profitable Stylist, Eddie Ohanian, Bernard Ori. We're coming at you one more time. This one is continuing our series that we've been going over for the past couple of weeks. We are doing everything hair toppers today. Bernard, you got you got a haircut.
Yeah, I got a hair long.
You got a hair long.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that fancy TikTok thing.
You're gonna.
What? Can you imagine that movie magic I just did?
Whoa!
I still got long hairs all over me. Hey, I want to say the cool thing about this is I know this channel is open to the public, so this is going to be just as much for the average person that wears a topper as well as the hairdresser who's putting them on. I want to teach a hairdresser how to make money with toppers, but then educate the public a little bit about what a topper is, where they came from, how they work, and so much more. That sounded so canned, huh? And so much more.
And so much more. But wait, there's more.
But wait, right. So go ahead and show this video just as a little preview to what's going on. It's going to start off with a bunch of colors. You can play it right away. It's going to show a bunch of colors at the topper. The one we're going to end with, the beaded topper, comes in, and boom, 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 boom. And then we're going to end talking about this one at the end. It's a new kind of topper. It's put on with beads. She's just kind of placing it right now. We rooted that, or she did. The stylist there is named Callie, and that's Amber, who works in our office. Callie rooted that hair, and then she beads it down, and we're not showing the whole process here, just a few of the beads right in the front, how they're hidden underneath there, and it stays on. So that's kind of what we're going to end with today. Just wanted to give you a little preview of the end. It's really cool. You don't have to show any more of that, but oh no, they can't see the end. That's the secrets, but that's me teaching the class. You can stop that video now and go to the very first topper in our queued up picture list, because where did toppers come from? How they work? What are they? I have to admit, I didn't like the name at first. Sometimes you just got to go with the industry standard, the thing that the people decide to call something. And for some reason, hairdressers and customers or the marketers before me decided to call this a topper, I guess because it goes on top of the head.
You know, the naming conventions in our world is not. Think about all the different, like think of household appliances. You know, a refrigerator, an oven, a microwave oven. You know,
Yeah.
A flat iron, a curling iron. Like even in our own industry, naming conventions suck.
Right. So I don't get the pleasure of naming. I got a little bit of that other one. I got to at least put the word beaded in front of it. But I went with the most popular term on the planet right now for what this is. And so I'd like to kind of cover a little bit about this, because a lot of people, hairdressers, I'm about to sneeze.
Whoa.
Excuse me, guys.
Bless you.
I know, huh? Thank you. So anyway, where does all this come from? That thing that we're showing a picture of right there is before toppers. It's before topper came along. But where did anything get named that went on top of a person's head? And I guess that's where topper comes from. But it's just hair, right? It's either synthetic hair, it's human hair, and then I mean, of course, the most common term on the planet would be wig, right? And so some kind of hair that goes on your head would be called a wig, a hairpiece, a hair system, a toupee, a wiglet, a piece. I mean, there are so many names for it. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong name. I got all mad at a girl on one of these forums yesterday who was trying to tell people that they can't call bleach. You have to call it lightener. That bleach goes in a washing machine for clothes. And I thought, fine, I get classing up the words, and I like classing up some words too, but you can't tell people they're wrong. Sure, if I'm a doctor, I will get paid a lot more if I say I'm going to make an incision here as opposed to I'm going to slice you open here. Either one is accurate. I'm going to slice you open like a gangster, or I'm going to make an incision here and remove. I mean, right, the words do matter, but they're not wrong.
Okay,
opinion.
I've been teasing this and teasing this and teasing this. So I
Go.
want a petition. I want people to start commenting that they want a color video.
Oh,
one of these
you're
days.
ready to talk about color, huh? I know.
I'm biting the inside of my lips so good. Yeah. I want comments.
Yeah.
I want people requesting that we do color. We talk about color. There is a difference between bleach and lightener. Unfortunately, I can't get into it right now because Bernard is just going to jump through the camera at me. You know?
Yeah. So just stop.
Yeah, just stop, right? No, but it's true. Yeah, everything has a place. You know, that's what we always. That's the whole purpose of what we do every week over here. We're always talking about how there is a purpose to everything. You know, going back to last week, somebody was asking us what was the best weft system that's out there. You know, and we both agreed the answer that we gave. It's really going to be dependent on your client, and it's also going to be dependent on what it is that you are doing and what purpose you're trying to serve for your clients, right? And this is why we're going through. Yeah, exactly.
What they have, what they want, and what they can pay.
and what they ultimately at the end of the day, that's right. Budget is important.
Zoom in on that picture a little bit because I want to show that this is kind of where the topper was born. This is a regular hair system for hair replacement. The way that it would be technically different from a wig is that a wig is mostly made of wefts. The wefts are put together and they're sewn to a netting base that fits and stretches over a head, and then usually has a bunch of short curly hairs near the base to kind of hide that base and that scalp, and it gives it a puffy look at the base. Whereas like even the thing I had on my head, you can see the hairs come out of the base individually, and it looks like a real scalp down in there. And that system there does also, I like to call them systems, hair systems or extra hair. But that one has a really nice base. It's a mesh base and then a polyurethane edge. But it's designed to be put on with a super aggressive, really thick tape that stays on for a few weeks, or an adhesive, some sort of an adhesive that like Ghost Bond, or there's many other ones, but a real thick, creamy white. What are you laughing at?
The Gorilla Glue video that we made. I'm forever ruined from hearing the word glue or adhesive. I'm forever ruined.
Right, and that's what I put on the post the other day. I said, I teach hair replacement classes, and although I ask people to class up the words and call it adhesive instead of glue, glue is not wrong. It's just you can get paid more if you use a bigger word. That's all. I mean, sure, you can glue these things on and end up the star of a reality show that goes bad. But this system is designed to be glued on, adhered on, taped on. But at the same time, that system is where it started, and people started to sew clips on, because remember, we had extensions that were glued or sewed in, and then hairdressers got smart and said, hey, I could take these comb clips out of a wig and sew them to the extensions and put these extensions in temporarily, whereas glued in extensions were sort of semi-temporary also, a couple of washes and they were falling out, whereas the clips would clip them on. Now you got clip-in extensions that are very, very popular across the world. And then this is now, go to the next picture. Do we have clip-on clips for the next one?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the next thing. So there you go. And even better, zoom in on that a little bit. That's got a big, giant, very famous in the wig world, that comb in the front. They call that a, well, it's called a comb clip. The other ones are also called comb clips because they're miniature combs. But what is the proper term for that little clip? I forget. The big one's a comb clip.
You talking about?
The little clip, it's got it pops open and shut, whereas the big one just combs in and that's it. And
yeah,
so
that's the barrette.
No, well, it works like a barrette. That's right. Your accent, barrette. Nobody knows what a barrette is. You got to just run it together. It's a barrette. Maybe up north. I'm from Louisiana. Maybe people. This is good. Tongue. Maybe the Northerners know what you're saying, and the Southerners know what I'm saying.
Bernard, nobody knows what I'm saying half the time anymore. Forget about it.
So, right, it is a lot like a barrette. But that little part that the combs pop up against, because it kind of, it's forced tension. It pops shut and pops open. That little bar has a little rubber coating on it so the hair doesn't slip. And then, of course, that's a very wiggy material. This is more of a wig with clips in there. Mm-hmm. And let me just mention this real quick. There's a huge advantage for the hairdresser and the client when you move to what we're getting ready to talk about in a few minutes, the beaded topper. See, this right here is temporary. And so for the client, when they wear this, they basically have to take it off every evening. You sleep with this, it's going to be damaging.
Oh, no,
this one has a few more combs than usual, and that is a good thing. Most of them have 4 combs, front, back, side, side. And this one's rather large also. But where the combs are, just like clip-in extensions, they start to wear the hair out in that one little area that it's supported and starts to break off the hair. So go to the next picture.
This one also, there's a big gap in the center, so you got to pull their natural hair through it. And if they don't got enough hair on top, if they're sparse on the top of their head, this may not be an option for everybody.
Right. And you bring up a good point. Is so far I haven't seen anywhere you can integrate the client's hair. This one, can you zoom in further, closer on the?
I can't zoom in any further on this one.
Oh, okay.
But this is similar to the previous one we were just showing.
Yeah, but this one's only going to clip around the sides and the back.
Yeah.
And then in the front, you're going to have to tape it down, glue it down, hope it stays down like a hair replacement system. So this is going to be a lot more difficult for the person at home to do themselves, because that front is just it's gonna lift up. You're gonna have to just kind of not be in much wind. Couldn't be in the Chicago windy city where you guys are from. You'd have to be in the middle of the country somewhere, or inland anywhere where it doesn't blow much.
And then a terrible thing is, well, I shouldn't say terrible. With these kind of systems, you kind of almost have to make a decision. Do you have to buzz and shave back some of their hairlines so you can take it down for more support? Or do you just hope the clip will hold it down, or not the clip, excuse me, hope the adhesive will hold it down onto the hairs that are still there, and then during the removal, hopefully you don't rip out any of the hairs either. So
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to everything, right? And that's one of the struggles with that particular system. And that's where things like this, are born and came to be.
Yep. Somebody had enough hair in the front to want this, so they could clip that front on. That scalp looks really good. It's a little smaller, just a little thinning area on top. And like you said, you have to have enough hair in the front, because I was worried about tape ripping the hair out on the front too, but some people want that option. Now, what this is all about is a person who has thinner hair, who tried extensions and wants more and more extensions, and gets to the point where extensions doesn't thicken the hair on top of the head, just the lower levels and the sides. And so they keep trying to get extensions higher, then they get thinner, and then they got to go lower so they don't show. And then they put this on top of the head. And that's kind of where the topper came. In some cultures, they'll call it a closure, where it just closes up the bald area on top. This is a topper, where it just goes on top and it clips on, and then you can still put extensions in if you want. But what if your hair is, it's a little warm, that one too, because it's not going to let any air go through it. What if you wanted to integrate your hair with it a little bit? That's one of the limitations here. The one we're going to show you in a minute attaches in the middle of the head as well as the edges. And the teaser I still got here is what's going to be better for the client and the hairdresser. I'm going to give you the upside of what this is right now for the client. It's less expensive. Now, it might be expensive to buy once, but then you don't have to pay for service. You take it off, put it on yourself. Maybe you don't want to take it off and put it on because it's a pain in the butt, but you can to save money. You can buy it once and apply it yourself. Now, the downside is you can't fake like you have real hair 24 hours a day. You can't go to sleep with this on. It's going to be super damaging. So if you're in a situation where you're going on, I don't know, I've heard of you're going to be a chaperone for your senior, your junior kids, whatever, and you're going for the weekend at Disney World and you're going to stay in a hotel. You're sleeping in a room with a bunch of young girls, and not you, but the mom. You're a mom, and you're in that room, and you're like, my daughter's friends have never seen me without this, because I usually only see them during the day. So you risk it and you try to sleep with this thing on, and you're pulling hairs out. You're hiding in the bathroom in the morning trying to fix it. So, the upside was cost. The downside is you can't wear it 24 hours a day. Anything you want to say about it? And then just go to the next picture.
It's the matting. just this does not breathe. So if
your hair underneath.
The whole thing with all of these systems is that extensions, we can only come to the round, the parietal or the round, whatever everybody wants to call it. But that's your, no man's land. Once you go above that, there's not enough hair to cover it up, right? So that's always been the struggle, is how do you get enough hair in here? And all of these systems with the, some use mesh, some use fishnet, some use whatever material they're using. Whatever hair you still have left, you got to get smashed in. It gets hot, it gets sticky. The nice thing about this, though, we'll always balance it out with saying something nice, like Bernard was saying earlier. You do get full coverage.
We don't have
with this.
To be nice. You don't have to be nice.
I don't. Okay. Well, then I'm just gonna stop.
If you're about to
I'm just gonna stop and move on.
Yeah. Again, similar there. You got to glue or tape the front down. That's what. That's a large one. And
this is a smaller one. So here, I'll go back for a second. The size of this thing comes all the way down. So if you got the Hulk Hogan haircut going on, where you're all bald on top, and you got male pattern baldness,
right? You might need this.
That's not going to fit.
Yeah, you might need more hair. And then this would be for a very small area, but still a very good looking system. The theme here is no holes in the system where you can integrate your hair if you have some hair to integrate with it. So do we get to ours yet? I'm tired of these.
There's another one.
There's ours. So this has a silicone. Oh, you can't really see it in there. Let me show.
I can go to the next one.
Well, now look. I just want to show you on here. If I grab this, I just want to show you. It's stretchy. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it literally like will fit a lot of different size heads. And you can see the dark spots on there. Everywhere there's a dark spot, it can be attached. One of the things that the hairdressers might like to know about this is that all those other systems, the hair is knotted to that base. And on the bottom side of the base, you can feel the knots of the hair, and they come loose and the hair sheds. This beaded system is a silicone base. All of this silicone is sealing the knots in, so this hair does not shed from the system, so it lasts longer than most of those toppers that we just looked at. That's one of the nice things. You're going to pay a little bit more for this, but it's going to last longer. And then, are you going to draw circles on here? Is this the one you're going to draw on?
I'm going to use this one.
Okay, so you can kind of see where those little dark spots are, and Eddie will point them out a little bit. But that long, skinny thing down the center is where the part is. And now what he's circling is, I like that. So these are the spots that are a little bit more reinforced so that you can secure this by, and this is not a class, so I'm not going to show you exactly how it works.
Right.
But right in the front, too. Do the two right in the very front on each side of the part. You got that one, that one.
You got that one and that one.
And then the hair part goes right between those front two center circles and show them where the part is. I mean, I think most people get it, but you can just right through that area. This whole section.
I feel like a football play-by-play announcer, dude. You're going to come in through the center, and there's the part.
I barely watch football, but that's hilarious. Right through here, you'll get a touchdown. So that silicone section looks extremely natural, way more comfortable on the head, and it shows a natural parting where you can move the part a little bit. But can you zoom in on that whole thing even more? Because except for the part section, a person can pull their hair. I say a person, the hairdresser pulls hair through those reinforced areas, and then any one of those holes in the whole area of the whole system, there you go. The client's hair can be pulled through those holes to blend with the hair system to add thickness, reduce matting and tangling, but to also more perfect the color. So the client's hair is coming through and blending with the hair system hair, giving you a little more thickness, integrating the two together. But that part looks so natural right up to the front. And the thing that makes this hugely different is it is attaching to a small amount of hair, sort of like clips, only we're pulling the client's hair through those reinforced sections that you had circled earlier, and then putting one of the beads on that we attach our wefts with. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's multiple beads right down the side of the part, all through the center and around the edges. So this is the part where I say the upside for the client is they can wear hair 24 hours a day. They come in about once a month to have it taken off, put back on, and re-secured, and they live in their hair. that comes with a cost, of course. And who gets to benefit from that cost? Both the client and the hairdresser. So now the hairdresser doesn't just sell a topper and maybe see them 6 months or a year later. They get to see this client every month and make about $150 to $250. And our salon down south, cost of living's a little lower. We charge $150 to take this off and put it back on. Now we're doing color and cut services also for additional fees, but just to take it off, put it back on, about an hour, $150. There's no, the beads are about 18 cents a piece for the hairdresser. So there's barely any cost. It's a high profit margin for the hairdresser, and the clients are loving keeping the hair on their head. And a few of them are adding extensions underneath to add even more fullness and length.
It's the other thing that I've been getting asked a lot of questions for this one is because of the spacing on the mesh, right? On the wefting, it can breathe.
Yeah.
The hair is not going to get smashed. Water's going to be able to pass through. Air is going to be able to pass through. It's not going to get so hot. So that's one of the big bonuses about this. The other thing that I get asked a lot about is what if, especially around the sides here, what if somebody's missing hair and they don't got enough hair to hit one of the anchor points? So what we've been talking about is you skip. So if somebody's missing the hair right there, you skip that anchor point. But by the time you put the anchor point next to it and on the other side opposite of it, those two anchor points are going to be down so tight, it's going to hold that in. It's not going to go flipping, up in the air like that. So that's been a huge benefit and a huge bonus for this thing. Also, the fact that we're just drawing it through, we're using their natural hair to integrate through these anchor points. It's not so flat to the head. So as far as a comfort and wearability, especially overnight or for an extended period of time, it's all there, all the way around. All of these things have been thought through. Coming back in, I've been telling people about, it obviously is going to depend on everybody's maintenance schedule. I've been telling about 6 to 8 weeks. What do you feel about that?
Yes. You know what? We're having some people come in 4 or 5 weeks. Some are coming in 6 to 8 weeks. Has a lot to do with how fast their hair grows and how they like their fit. We're pulling hair through those darker reinforced areas, but on some finer, thinner haired clients who need a little bit more support, you can literally pull hair through and secure it in more areas, anywhere on that base, actually. And on people with thicker, coarser hair, but they're just thin, you can pull it through less of those areas. It really can be customized. So we're finding if some people like it a little tighter and snug to their head, so they want to come in every 4 weeks, no matter how fast their hair grows. And then some people like it a little looser. They don't enjoy that first week or two when it's snug. And if they like it a little looser, they're going closer to 6, sometimes 7 or 8 weeks. Usually 6 or 7 weeks is the longest. But some people with slow growing hair and like it loose do go a little longer. Do we have another picture?
Yeah.
I don't remember how many we queued up.
One more thing about this too.
Go ahead.
You're putting the beads through, you're not going to see it on the opposite side. That's another question I get asked a lot is, there is so much hair on here that, by the time let me find
and the beads are underneath.
The beads are all underneath, right? So here.
Yeah.
I have to really stretch this thing over my thumb and push it all the way through just so you can kind of see it through there. Otherwise, if I hold it normal, even if I separate it and I'm holding it normal without stretching it, you're not going to see the beads.
It's 5 inches wide by 6 inches long, and I've drawn it on this head to kind of show this mannequin head. She's got a little color on her face.
That's a smudge. That's a smudge roots.
I drew a little left part on here before I put the system on, and then I drew the parting section. I wrote some things on there, but that's about how close to the front hairline we go. And then if you looked at the top of the head, that's about where it fits, because I measured with a tape measure and did 5 by 6 inches. I centered it on there just to kind of show you. But you can put it a little left, a little right, a little further forward, a little further back. But I just drew it where we normally do it, and did it with the part over the left eye. I know this mirror image might make it look like it's the right side, but it's the left eye in this picture. And it just gives you a rough idea of how much head it actually covers. And then that's a close-up picture of the top just to show you how clean the part is. And of course that hair is not cut at all, and it's just the color it comes. Our hair is designed to be customized quite a bit. And what we did for the video in the very beginning, this is actually off of Amber's head. We rooted this system, and you can see, I can't see at the same time.
I'll put it up on screen.
Oh, you got a picture there. That's even better. Yeah, so we put a little color, we a little smudge rooted a little bit because Amber's hair was kind of like that. And oh my goodness, we first put it on her without the smudge root, and it looked pretty good. And then after a few weeks of wearing it, I say we, I take the credit. Callie colored the roots, put it on her, and it was like, wow. So it's crazy. There's always a tweak that can make something look better. And for her, that one really did. We have one more little golden nugget we haven't shared with you yet. I don't know what the next picture is, but let's do that. There it is.
This is a bonus.
So, bonus. This we're not even stocking yet. We are testing this. Now you can special order it in all the colors that the other one comes in. The other one we call a beaded topper. This one's called a beaded lace topper. It's going to have some of the good of the topper and some of the good old-fashioned, not so good old hair replacement stuff, and I'll explain both of those. The neat thing about this is if a client has lost a lot more hair in the front, like you were talking about, and they just don't have hair to bead to, well, then this has a whole lace front that you can glue, tape, bond, adhesive, adhere, whatever you want to call it. No Gorilla Glue. But maybe Gorilla Glue will come out with a hair adhesive product.
You know what? I'm biting my tongue. I hope they do too. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, maybe you should say that after we're off the air.
Yeah, right.
So this, I know it looks like a whole bunch of extra lace. And for some reason, for those of you that aren't familiar with lace front systems, they always come with a little extra lace. I don't know if you can even tell. Extra lace for pinning down to a canvas block or a styrofoam head so that when you can do some pre-cutting or coloring or styling. And then you cut this extra lace off. So that extra lace is only there for cutting and styling purposes.
The preparation work.
What's that?
The preparation work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not part of the finished product on the client's head.
So then when you bead it through the normal places, and if you decide to bead it through this little area here, instead of adhering it, I noticed there was no holes across here. So what I did is, I think I have it on my desk. Let me see if I can grab it real quick.
This is a lot of the fun that we have with testing things, customizing things, and playing with things. And it's all comes from the necessity of our clients. How do you fulfill your clients' needs to complete the service that we're trying to do for them? So this is a little fun that Bernard was having with one of the other pieces.
Do you know, if you could comment what this is before I say what it is, I'd be impressed.
You want me to comment or you want somebody to comment?
No, not you, somebody else. So this is, I'm going to say it too soon. This is a leather punch. I went to Tractor Supply, bought this leather punch, and it's what you put holes in a belt with, apparently, or any leather, but I guess usually you're putting holes for a belt or whatever else. And it pushes against here, and it's pretty strong. So I went and bought this leather punch and on another system to test on a lady, and I put more holes across this front area because I had a lady who, in my opinion, was too thin for the beaded topper, but still had so much hair that I didn't want to shave it and bond that front down. So we put a few more holes across the front, and I told the stylist, Amy was her name, I said, Amy, so the good thing about this is we can put the holes and we can beat it down, and God forbid we pull her hair out because she doesn't have enough, or she does, or she styles it too aggressively, and we do pull her hair out in the front, or it just doesn't hold, or she ends up with a couple bald spots. We're going to shave it anyway. So then if she's okay with that, so we talked to her and we're like, hey, I'd like to beat it down to be a lot easier, more comfortable, easier on the maintenance. But if your hair's just not strong enough to hold it, which in the end she's been in 2 or 3 times now for service and the beads are working well, that's the end of the story. But if they wouldn't have, we would have just ended up, I cleared it with her and said, we'll just end up shaving a little bit here, and we'll tape or adhere that front down. So the added bonus that I didn't think of is I'm going to put my thumb and finger right at the edge of where hair comes out. So we ended up going as far forward as her hairline was, which was a little receded, and we beaded it down right in this, where the two holes, I had two holes there. And I didn't even think about this. This lace gave her another 1/2 inch of hairline. So the lace popped out in front of the hairline even more. So it brought her whole hairline down, and she...
Get out of here, you
she was so happy. She's a manager at a Walmart, and she was newly in the dating world, and she was so excited. She said the new attention she's getting from her dating app with her new pictures was amazing. Look, I was so happy to be a part of that. I don't know why.
Extension, well, it's because it really is the relationship of what we do with our clients, and extensions is just such an enhancement onto the personal look. And our hair really completes the whole thing. You could put all the makeup you want. You could put, all the you can redo your eyebrows and grow a beard, shave a face. You could put the blush and I don't know anything about makeup, but lipstick or whatever.
Right, but everything you're talking about is here.
It's just here, but all of that gets framed with all the hair coming through. One of the other big things about this is, a lot of people, when we're saying 5x6, another thing I'm realizing in all these classes that we're teaching, and it feels like lately that's all I'm doing is hair extension and topper and weft classes. It's been insane. It's just 5 inches ear to ear, 6 inches from the front to back. That's only ever sitting at the round or the parietal, however everybody refers to it as. It's not part of the flat. So you can still throw a weft in there, throw strands in there, throw bonds in there, whatever you want to do. And now you can create a more complete, fuller look, whether you're doing layers, whether you're doing a bob, whatever style you're trying to create. This really completes, the circle of life of what we've been trying to do with extensions this whole time, with being able to go directly on top of the head.
Right. So here's where I put one 11-inch long weft simulation in, and that's underneath of where you would put a beaded topper on top. So it just kind of shows you that you can definitely, like you said, still put it in there. Man, I think we've said everything we could say. We're willing to answer all the questions in the comments if we get any. Do you have any other pictures we forgot about? Or is that everything?
It's just one more picture of the lace. This is the full length. Oh, okay. So 5x6, 12 inches long. That's always the other question is what length does it come in?
Good point.
They're 12 inches long. So,
we're making it simple. We don't have multiple lengths, multiple densities, or different sizes. It's just 5x6, 12-inch hair. And I don't know how to tell you what the density is, but it's nice. Everybody seems to be liking it.
It's a lot
but it's
of hair.
Not too much. But it's not too much. It's not ridiculously thick, and it does have a little wave you can see. So those are most of the statistics about specs, I should say, of the hair system. And then you cut it. If you want more length, you add extensions to it. But it's crazy because this is helping. Most of the time when you think about things like this, you're thinking about old ladies. Most people are thinking older people want or need hair because they're losing their hair. But like Amber in our office, she's a young girl. We've got so many young ladies now, just a little thinner than they like on top. They don't look sick or look like they need hair or losing their hair. They just maybe always had thinner hair than they wanted.
Fine, soft hair, and they want more.
Right.
Everybody always wants more. You can never have enough hair.
Right. And so the thing we're not going to do is cover prices. We do only sell to hairdressers. So this beaded topper would have to come through your stylist if you decide to get it. I can tell you in our salon, we sell the beaded topper to the client and cut it in and style it and do everything for $1,500. I think we're $1,600 or $1,700 for the beaded lace topper. So you hairdressers can figure out that obviously you're paying less than that, and there's some profit margin in there for you. But I'm just giving you a rough idea what many stylists across the country are charging, an average of about $1,500 to get it put on. So worth it. It lasts about 9 months to a year because of the silicone locking the roots in. It doesn't shed easily. It doesn't get damaged or fall apart easily, whereas most toppers do lose hair, shed hair, need to be replaced in just a few months, even though they're not sleeping with it. So how long this one lasts, the high quality of hair has been phenomenal. And that's why Eddie and I got involved with this. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. It's a lot of fun to be a part of. And that's all I have to say for today.
Yeah, we'll end it with this one. Yeah, as always, hit us up with your comments. Let us know what you guys want to see next. We got a long list of cues, that people have been asking for.
Right.
I'm gonna say again, I want to expand into hair color because no. All right, guys. Profitable Stylist, Eddie Ohanian, Bernard Ori. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll catch you next time.